Hi, welcome back to Easy and Fast English. I'm James. Today I would like to speak about if clauses and conditionals. There are three main types of conditionals: type 1, type 2 and type 3. I've already put three examples of each conditional, of each type of conditionals onto the board. So we are prepared. Type 1 conditional. Type 1 conditional means it's very likely that the conditional, this is the first part with the if this conditional is fulfilled, that the second part, it will happen. Okay? So for example, if I win the lottery, I will buy a car. If I actually win the lottery, I know the chances are pretty small, but the idea is that this will happen if this scenario takes place, if this part of the condition is fulfilled. Looking at it, you might wonder about the grammar. I will just put it on, okay? In type 1, if plus win, this is just the simple present. Simple present. And after the comma, simple future. But it's not, we have two types of simple futures. We have be going to, for example, I'm going to drive home, and we also have will future. Yeah, maybe just a small refresher. What's the difference between be going to and will? Be going to is something that's also more sure to happen. I already booked a trip. I'm sitting at home and I'm telling my wife, tomorrow I am going to drive to Puerto Rico. Okay? But if I'm not sure, what are you going to do, or what will you do on your next vacation? I'm not so sure. I will. Then we use I will. For example, maybe next year I will drive to Puerto Rico. And if, of course, is not sure, and that's why we have to use the simple future with will. Okay? Let's just call it will future. As I said, like to keep it simple and easy. Okay? So if I win the lottery, I will buy a car. This is the plan. All right. Now, in the second conditional, type 2 conditional, it's very unlikely that if the condition is fulfilled, or that we are actually fulfilling this first part of the condition. It's very unlikely. It's a different scenario. It's the same type of sentence, but the idea is different. In this case, if I won the lottery, I would buy a car. Actually, I'm assuming the chances to actually win the lottery are quite small, and they are, I guess, 1 in 100 million, something like that. Okay, but if the small possibility it should happen that I win the lottery, then I would actually buy a car. Okay, so if I won the lottery, I would buy a car. This is something that's you actually use most of the time. It's in theory, it's just like hypothetically. What if? All right? For example, if it rained, I would use the umbrella. Or if it rained, I would not go outside. All right? But the chances that it actually does rain are pretty small. So the grammar here, if, then the one, of course, that's the simple past. And the second part of the conditional, would plus by, that's the infinitive form of the verb, infinitive. Okay, all right. Of course, remember, you can always switch those two parts of the conditional around. For example, you could say, I will buy a car if I win the lottery. I would buy a car if I won the lottery. All right? I would say those two we use most of the time. but sometimes we're actually referring to the past. And if you refer to the past in type 3, it's of course impossible to fulfill the condition, the first part, if I had won the lottery, because it happened in the past and we cannot go travel to the past and we cannot change the past, as far as I know anyway. Okay, so if something already happened in the past, if I had won the lottery, well, I would have bought a car, but it's too late. I did not win the lottery, so I didn't buy a car. Okay, we talk about it all the time. If I had studied math, I would have become a math teacher. So if it refers to the past and we cannot change it, we have to use type 3. And the grammar on type 3, if plus had won, that is the past perfect, as some of you might remember. That's the past perfect. And after the comma, we have the would, of course. And it looks like the present perfect. It looks like have plus the third form of the verb, but it's not the present perfect. Why not? For example, in the third person, we cannot say she would has bought, right? That's why it's not the present perfect. It just looks like the present perfect. What I like to do, I like to call it fake present perfect. Okay? Just to keep it simple. Because if I just say would plus present perfect, it's just easier to remember. Okay? Then all you have to remember, if and past perfect always goes together with would and present perfect. Just to be politically correct, I will write it here. It's a fake present perfect. So technically, grammatically correct, this would plus have plus bought would be called conditional 2, and would plus infinitive is called conditional 1, if you need to know it. So just to summarize one more time, and just a way to remember it and to keep it simple and easy. In type 1, if simple present always goes together with will future. In type 2, if simple past always goes together with would infinitive. That's conditional 1. And in type 3, if and the past perfect always goes together with the would, the have, and the third form of the verb. I like to call it would present perfect. Just kind of easy to remember. If past perfect, would present perfect. Always goes together. We don't mix them up. Yeah, we don't use this if and simple present with the would and fake present perfect, for example. Okay? So let me give you one more example just to make it more clear. Imagine there's a situation. I'm invited to a party and I also want to bring a friend along, but I have to look for her address. So what will I do? If I find her address, I will invite her. Yeah, very likely. It's very likely if I do find her address, if this part of the condition is fulfilled, I will do this. If I find her address, I will invite her to the party. But now, it's a different scenario for type 2. The scenario is, I have no idea where the address is. I could search my whole flat, I could search all of my documents, all of my papers, I could have a look on my phone, okay? But I'm not sure if I actually do find her address. Then we have to use this part. It's unlikely. It's in theory. If I found her address, yeah, if in simple past, I would invite her to the party, okay? But the chances that I do find her address are quite small. If I found her address, I would invite her to the party. Yeah, that was type 2. Now type 3, it's the next day. It's the next day, the party is over. I couldn't find her address yesterday. It's too late. My friend asked me, hey, why didn't you invite Susan to the party last night? I said, man, I just couldn't find her address. But if I had found her address, I would have invited her to the party. But it's too late. Happened yesterday. Okay? I hope this was quite clear. If you have any questions, please write it down into the comments. I gladly explain everything. Otherwise, thank you so much for attending this lesson and have a nice day. Thank you. Bye-bye.